As I move through the astonishing beauty of this amazing spring day, I see the flowers, the leaves on the trees, and I realize I don't have to push or pull or struggle with anything. I simply awaken to the natural beauty of spring. And I see this. This is something from spirit. It indicates and teaches to me the beauty of all life. That I don't have to struggle. I don't have to push. I don't have to pull. I simply awaken. And right now, I invite you to join me to awaken to the magnificence of life, to move beyond the ideas of what needs to be done, what has happened in the past, and simply be here now and awaken to the truth. There is one power, one presence, one life, one intelligence. It is the thing itself, first cause, the source and substance of all that is, and it is pure, endless beauty and radiant love. This is what is, and this is all that is. It expresses everywhere. Therefore, I know it expresses the essence of my being. I come from a sense of oneness with the spiritual presence. I come from a sense of life, of abundance, of love, of joy, of harmony. And everyone I meet is exactly as I am. And in our essence, we are one. One spirit, one presence, one mind. And so, I uplift and allow the one spirit that creates everything from atoms to galaxies to dissolve any idea of limitation or separation from the nothingness from which it came. And in its place, I awaken to the magnificence of life. I surrender any idea of limitation and awaken to a greater idea of myself, of everyone I meet, of everything that happens. I know that there is only one. I focus on that. I feel that. I move from that. I am inspired. I am supported. I am uplifted. And just as the flowers of spring reveal themselves naturally and easily, I allow prosperity, health, harmony, love, the goodness of life to reveal itself easily and naturally Spirit does the work. I simply step aside and say, ta-da! And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you so much. And now Sharon will come and share a reading for today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The reading for today comes from Creative Thought, and it is for today. It isn't joy that makes you feel grateful. It's being grateful that makes you feel joy. Mary Morrison. Deeper into joy. There's an unlimited power of good in this universe. This power imbues, extends, expresses, and impresses itself in, through, and as everything manifest and not manifest. God is all there is. It can only be itself, and being infinite, there cannot be anything but it. Unity, experiencing itself as infinite variety, and I am one with that. I am that I am. I savor the divine properties of spirit that must be the truth about me. I am life, love, light, power, peace, beauty, and joy. In full realization of this, I potently understand that the quality of joy in my life is not contingent on any person, place, or thing in my life. It is simply what I am here to be. As I live from the qualities of my divine inheritance, and as I spend my spiritual coin of awareness wisely, I have both the immediate and residual rewards of being perpetually delighted with my life. I am here to express joy, and this very realization fills me with gratitude. As I am filled with thanksgiving, my joy spills over into every area of my life. My relationships, my prosperity, my healthfulness, and my creative expression. With a sense of the enormity of God's good that is ever present, I fall with gratitude into the sheer joy of being alive, and I release my word. God is good all the time, and so am I. And so it is. Thank you. So I believe I would be next on the program, correct? I am next on the order anyway. So I want to make it so. So we are going to celebrate the Palm Sunday today in a different way. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to get up, go outside, and instead of palms, we're going to be greeted with drum. And we're going to drum back in, and as you come back in, come in the consciousness of peace and wholeness and celebration. And know that as Jesus was purported to be entering into Jerusalem, you too are entering into the consciousness of Jerusalem. So I invite you to step outside for a moment. Run that again. Shalom. I'm going out of this. Oh. You okay? No. You hurt yourself? Sorry.
So, Funk Doctor, what do we play for celebration? Matter of fact, you know the one said.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So how did that feel?
That's fine.
It feels good. And what we read in the Bible about Jesus entering into Jerusalem, he was met with celebration. And so you were met with celebration. I want to take us on a journey inward in terms of Palm Sunday. I don't want to talk about the outward situation. I want to talk about consciousness. And so when we look at Jesus entering into this state of Jerusalem, which means peace, I want us to think about ourselves and how there are times that we have come to a decision about something in our life and we are feeling very peaceful about it. Matter of fact, we're more than peaceful, we are feeling joyous about it and we are ready to embrace it. These palms that were laid out to cover the ground, and they were laid out to represent a great being coming forth. And so when we think about the ideas that sometimes come forth in our mind, we really have to lay out that idea and protect it from the dirt. And the dirt being all of the doubt that might come up about what it is that we're endeavoring to do. And so as this consciousness, this Christ consciousness, enters into a realm of peace, and we enter into the realm of something wonderful and new, we have to protect it. We have to cover it with the palms and step easily into it. And so as we do that, we begin to feel the energy around us that kind of gathers as if to say, at last you got it. How many people have ever felt that? We decided, I'm going to do this, and you can just feel like the whole heavens have opened up and said, at last, you've got it. Yes. And so this is what we are celebrating in consciousness. That idea that we have embraced, that idea that we're willing to step into, and we're moving forward. And there's this whole chorus of energy that is saying yes to us, similar to the people that came out to greet Jesus. Well, we all know that as he moved forward, something happened. Something happened. If we were to look at ourselves, that something might represent fear. That something might represent a change of mind. And so, as we move forward oftentimes with this new idea, we meet fear. We wonder how we're going to be received, how other people are going to perceive what we are doing. And we're quite concerned about it. And so, when I look at this idea that we might have, there are some things that can come up. One of the things that is in the Bible, 7 things that Jesus said as he is reaching this crucifixion point. So I wanted to share something because I thought it was really interesting, the 7 things that he had to say, and how that might affect where we are in consciousness. The first being, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. You know, sometimes we've gotten an idea, we've shared the idea, and it's been blasted. We've been blasted. Who do you think you are? How can you do that? What do you mean by that? Blah, 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 blah. And you kind of cower away from it. So this, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do, I think is key. Because it really is saying to us that oftentimes people don't understand the whole. They don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand the consequences of it, because if they did, they would not do it. And so really it is allowing people to express themselves, and even though it may not be supporting us, that we don't hold on to it. See, as we hold on to it, we, number one, are trapped by it for ourselves, and 2, we're connected to it. So this, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do, really is the truth. Oftentimes, the comments that can come back, people just don't understand. This, Father, forgive them, maybe for ourselves as well, as we sit and contemplate the idea and begin to entertain the negativity around it. Father, forgive me, for I know not what I do. I'm keeping myself in my greater good. Today, you will be with me in paradise. It's the second statement he makes. What is paradise? Heaven. Right here. Right now. And recognizing as we step into this new and greater idea, we are stepping into heaven. A greater experience of heaven. You know, sometimes where we are feels good, but where we're being called to is even greater. And when that happens, I think it takes more courage to let go of that good to step into a greater good. It's not hard when things are tough, but when things are good, you don't want to rock the boat. Everything's all right. Why am I going to do this? Well, sometimes that door is closing, and you're having another door opening up. And so allowing that and allowing yourself to step into a greater experience of paradise is what we're being called to. So I want you to stop and think right now. Are things really good? Does it feel comfortable? Can you kind of settle into it? Watch out. See, because I want you to understand there's more good. There's more good to come through you as you. And when we get to a point where we're so comfortable that we don't want to change, we miss out on paradise. We miss out on a greater experience. And we do not allow spirit to experience more of the good. So today, you will be with me in paradise. Really, it's a statement that says, there's more. Grab onto this wonderful idea. Step into it without fear. The next statement he has is, woman, behold your son, behold your mother. And in this statement, what we recognize is that it's all one. It's all connected. And that when we listen to this chatter that says less than, and we address it and recognize that within it all there is good, and we call forth that good, we recognize that we are connected to it all, that we are not separated from the good. That we can look at whatever is saying to us, you can't do this, you don't have the skills for this, and all that chatter, and know that the God is within it. And as we call it forth, it shows up. What do I mean by that? You may be called to something that you feel you have not been trained to do. You do not have the degree for it. You do not have the certificate for it. However, you have the skill. You have the gift. And so as you begin to embrace the gift, you will find that the doors will open for you regardless of degrees, regardless of certificates. That which has brought this gift to you is greater than that and can bypass that. And I think that's real important for us to understand, because I think sometimes we get bogged down with the idea, I don't qualify. You qualified in God. That's what you need to know. I qualified in God. And as you qualify in God, the doors will open for you to be able to step into it. I often use myself because I don't know anybody else really to use as an example. But when I got ready to teach, I did not have the degree to teach. I did not have the classes to teach. I simply had a calling to teach. And it so happened that there was a strike. And they're looking for what? Teachers. Did they care whether I had the degree for it? No. I had a college degree, but I did not have one in teaching. But they were in need of a teacher. So guess what? I got hired. I not only got hired, but the system paid for me to go back to school and get my training on a master's degree level. So what I'm saying to you is that oftentimes the world will present barriers, but we are in it and not of it. When we're in it, we let the barrier stop us. When we're not of it, we see something greater. We come from a higher level and we bypass the barrier. This is really important that we understand this. That when there is a calling and Spirit is calling us to something, it provides the avenue for us to get there. So we waste time talking about what we don't have, I can't do, blah, 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 blah. Be still and know that I am God. So this piece where he says that, woman, behold your son, behold your mother, really says to us that there is only one. We're all connected. And as we step into that consciousness, we draw forth the one out of those around us that can assist us in moving forward. We call forth the one within ourselves to speak to us and guide us to the next step. The next statement that he makes is, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? I'm going to read this part. Jesus is here once again teaching by making himself an example. Notice that this is a question. He was probably not asking the question for his own sake, because he knew the truth that was a real answer. But he spoke the question to show us that often we feel forsaken, even when we know better. The feeling may creep over us before we are even aware. We wonder why, once again, we feel that God has forsaken us. The truth is, God never forsakes us. Sometimes we forsake Him, or try to. Spirit is always with us. Spirit is always available to us. And as we remember that and step into that consciousness, and we open ourselves up, we will hear the guidance that is necessary for us to move forward. So the answer to why have you forsaken us, Spirit would say, I have never forsaken you. and always will. There are times that we feel that way. We feel, why am I doing this? So I'm going to stop and share something that I shared with you probably a couple of months ago, those of you that were here. I shared that I was at McDonald's and there's a man that sits there every single day that I'm there complaining about life. He's not complaining quietly about life, he's proclaiming it. He sits and he shouts out all the terrible things that are happening in life, and he does this every time he's there. Well, this particular day, I shouted out back to him, "Don't you ever have anything good to say?" And once it was out of my mouth, I said, "Oh my God, do I really do that?" And I shouted it so other people heard it. Well, he heard it. And a couple of weeks later, he was in line with me, and it was the day that we had the storm, the ice storm. And he looked at me and he said, "Isn't it a lovely day?" And I'm thinking to myself, has he lost it? Yes, it is. I answered him. And he said, "It is just beautiful out there." I said, "Yes, it is." Yeah. Saying to myself, that's different. See him again, and he's sitting at the table, and now he's speaking about some of the games that are going on in the city. Didn't hear anything negative coming out. That's good. Well, Thursday, I'm in line, and he's in line. He turns around and looks at me and he says, "I just have to say thank you for what you gave me. My life has changed." He said, "I've been doing what you told me to do. And I'm looking at the positive, and I'm speaking the positive, and I realize that there's so much negativity out there, I don't have to look at it or talk about it. But as I talk about the good, more good is coming." And I said, "Man, that is great. Keep doing it." He said, "Can I give you a hug?" I said, "Sure." So he hugged me. I went to my seat, he went to his, we don't sit near each other or next to each other. So at some point he got up to go to the bathroom. I got up to get another cup of coffee. When I came back, he was sitting, and I went over to him and I said, "I noticed something." And he looked at me and I said, "You're not limping, you're moving smoothly." He said, "Oh." He said, the pain is gone. I don't feel the pain like I used to." He said, "Thank you for noticing that. That means so much to me. Thank you for noticing that." Why am I sharing that? Because sometimes we wonder, what are we doing? What am I doing? Am I doing what I need to be doing? And to be honest with you, I thought about that myself. Am I doing what I need to be doing? And this individual is saying to me that his life has changed because I yelled at him, my spirit did. Says to me, "Yes, you're doing what you need to be doing. You are not forsaken. Keep doing what you're supposed to be doing. It makes a difference." When we recognize that we are the light and we walk in that light, we can shed light to others. This man is an amputee, and I'm sure he's a vet. And when I first met him, he walked like this, literally. When I saw him the other day, he walked like you and I. That's God. That's him turning from all that negativity and poisoning himself with his mind to turning to the good, the beautiful, and the true, and allowing that essence to flow through him and realign his physical form. That's awesome. That's awesome. God never forsakes us. At all times, he's yelling and shouting at us, and we need to listen. The next piece he says is, "I thirst." This is an affirmation of need, is an asking. And there are times that we need to ask, "Spirit, what is my next step? Spirit, what is it that I need to do? Spirit, how are you using me today? Spirit, how can I serve?" That asking. If we make that a spiritual practice, we will get answers in terms of where we need to go, what the next step is, and what we need to do. The next one is, it is finished. Everything in a person's life has a cycle, and there are times that what you are doing is finished. It is time to move on to something great. And as I said before, if things are working well, that's not always an easy step. But there are times that you may be called to the next step, to the next evolution. There are times that we're in professions that we've come to the end of. There are times where we're in relationships we've come to the end of. There are cities that we may be living in we've come to the end of. Sometimes reaching that end is not easy. Reaching that end may be the creating of a whole new life. But notice that I said new. The opportunity to create something greater. The opportunity to serve in something greater. One of the things that I've learned in my life is that, oftentimes we feel that we have been given one thing to do. If I do that one thing, I've served God. Bulletin, flash, that may not be the truth. You may have several things that you need to do, several gifts that are waiting to come forth out of you. And sometimes they come out one at a time, and sometimes they all come together to serve in the next spot. So being open and willing to hear it is what it's really about. Being open and willing to observe what's going on in your life as doors close and you stand there trying to keep it open. Allow it to close, because right to the next side of you, behind you, above you, below you, there's another door. Look, be open, be receptive. And if you enjoyed that last door, wow, you're going to enjoy the next one even more, because you've grown. That's another thing that we don't always recognize, that we are not the same. When we were over here cleaning, Sharon found some of my old talks from 2009, and she said, I'm taking this. I want to see who you were then and who you are now. We grow. As we grow and we look at the same material, we see somebody else. Someone came in my class the other day, and I taught them spiritual mind treatment many years ago. Well, it's changed. I've added to it. I play with it. I don't want it to be still. I want it to be new and more powerful. So this individual now has to catch up with some of the steps that I've added. That's what life is, evolving. If you are the same that you were 5 years ago, wake up. There's something new and greater waiting for you. Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit. Wow. That's trust. That's sheer trust. Spirit, all-knowing, all-present, all-loving. I submit myself to you. I surrender. I let go. I'm in a posture of listening and being obedient. That's scary. It's scary. If you haven't done that enough, that's a scary kind of thing. And one of the pieces around this scary is, I might be wrong. I might mess up. How many people are afraid to fail in here? Thank you for being honest. See, part of the journey is a willingness to fail. A willingness to make a mistake. A willingness to think you heard one thing, but you didn't hear it right. And find yourself in the midst of something going, how did I get here? You got there because you didn't hear it correctly, but that same God will get you out of it. And the more you begin to listen, the more you begin to have a willingness to make mistakes, the more you'll learn how it talks to you. See, your spirit is going to talk to you differently than mine. Some, you'll smell it. You'll get a smell, and you feel like, oh, Spirit's getting ready to talk to me. Some will get a tingle, and you know, it's like God comes. Spirit's talking. Some hear it, some see it. You have to learn how your spirit is going to work with you. And you still may not hear it right. Bottom line, as long as you are not harming anybody, it's okay. It's not leading you to hurt anyone. But it may lead you down a path that feels a little strange. You may get halfway down there and say, I don't know. And find that you should have gone all the way down. But it's okay. It is a process of creating a relationship with Spirit and learning how it communicates with you. And here's the piece about it. I have to go back to this piece on forgiveness. It doesn't hold you responsible because you didn't hear it right. It just talks to you some more till you get it. It is a process of opening up the line of communication between you and the God within you. And when you get that, you recognize I am not walking this path alone. I surrender to the wisdom of it. I trust it because it is here to express the good, the beautiful, and the true, and nothing else. So I can trust it. And it can take me down paths that I've never been to before. See, where I am with this process is, wow, how you going to show up? So now I'm going to talk about Christian. Traditionally, Palm Sunday, I like to have drumming. And so earlier this week, I said, boy, I sure would like to have some drumming. My daughter said to me, Mama, we're going to have some drums. I said, I don't know. I'd love to have some drumming. And I put it out into the universe. I said, universe, I'd love to have some drumming. And so we go to the door, and who's there? Drumming. There's only one mind, God. What Christian did this morning was, he said yes.
I grabbed my gym bag and I said, this is probably where Claire telling me to.
And I want to tell you something. Sometimes it works so well, it's scary. It's like, what? Because when I went back there and he came through the door, it was like, yes, thank you, Spirit. There is only one. You see, what we have done is we have cut the communication that we once had. We have cut this because there was a time in our lives that we would mentally say, I'm on the way, and that other person would hear it. There was story after story of people putting an extra plate at the table, and somebody saying, why are you doing it? Because so-and-so's coming. How do you know someone? Because I heard it. We've shut that down. But what I want you to understand is it is available to tap into the one mind and to speak into it. It is the greatest telephone system there is. It is the greatest texting that there is. Without texting, we shut it down. But it's available. And one of the things that I've shared a couple of times is that when I was married, my husband and I opened that line up. We did not talk to each other for 1 week about anything. If we were at the table and I wanted salt, I did not say that. I mentally said, give me the salt. If we needed to go somewhere, I did not tell him, or he did not tell me. We mentally did it. By the time that week was over, the door was open. We could be anywhere in New York City with all those millions of people and send a message to each other. Honey, stop and bring some bread, please, when you come in. He got the bread in his hand. But we forced ourselves to open that door up. Mothers and their children have that door open. Mothers know when something's wrong. They feel it. Honey, you all right? Because you heard it. But that's available to us. And we need to work at opening that up. It's available to us and our friends. We oftentimes tap into it, but think it's a fluke. It's not. It's the one mind that you can tap into. And it's awesome. It's available. So I surrender. I surrender to this wisdom. I surrender to this knowledge. I surrender to this love that is everywhere present. Always moving me to something greater. So when we talk about Palm Sunday, recognize that we can go to Palm Sunday any old time. We got an idea, we fight with that within us that says we can't have it. We can feel like we're being abandoned and crucified. And the bottom line is, as you grab the idea, as you listen to the idea, as you step into the idea, you step into the greater and the rising up of spirit. So I invite you to remember that and celebrate that. And celebrate yourselves because you are an awesome, whole, total, complete expression of the divine. And so it is. Ms. Anika, I'm going to open for you. So Nika's going to come up and share with us this morning.
Great morning, everyone. I heard the call too. I just felt like something inside. I'm going to college this morning. I told the kids I'm going to church this morning. And not until I pulled up into the parking lot did I remember that I'm supposed to share a workshop with y'all this morning. So it's very interesting because I heard it this morning.
Oh, by the way, I came to Colors my very first time performing with Onika, so she's the one who brought me to Colors. So it's funny how we all went some kind of culture.
So today I'm going to share with you quickly an exercise in order to allow yourself, enable yourself to move past stuff, to move past something that, some place that you feel like you're trying to make headway, you're trying to move forward, as Reverend Claire has spoken of this morning. And we're going to do it. We're going to go from the thought to the actual physical movement, okay? So, first off, we're going to allow ourselves to get centered with some drumming. So you can close your eyes, you keep your eyes open, but kind of go to a place of centering of yourself. And as you're going into that space, you may feel your body sway. You may feel your feet tap or some part of your body move. It's okay. That's what movement does. That's what inertia does to us. It allows us to move. I want you to think of that thing that you tried to move, you've tried to release, you've tried to go around, you've tried to unearth it or dig it up. It's that thing that may be deep down inside. And so, mind you, you have to be open. You have to be flexible. Very, very flexible. Like pliable, almost like you were a rubber stick. Okay? And you have to be free. So, imagine yourself in this thing, and you see yourself in this thing, whatever it is. See yourself moving around that thing. See yourself moving around that thing. See yourself pushing that thing away. Pushing yourself away. See yourself moving away from that thing. If that thing is something very close to you and inside of you, see yourself opening wide. Opening, like an egg, but expanding, and allowing that thing to be birthed and come out of you. If that thing is in your head, allow it to shoot up and forward. If that thing is in your heart, allow it to release and pour forward. If that thing is in your throat, it's in your chest, it's between your mouth and your chest, allow it to be released forward and out like the air you breathe. If that thing is right at your navel, at your core, growling, bubbling, wanting to be released, allow it to go down into the earth. Down into the earth. If that thing is stuck in your root chakra, which is your pelvic area, it's stuck there, just won't move. Allow it to go through your legs and come out through your feet and into the earth. So as you see yourself releasing, as you see yourself opening and expanding, your electromagnetic field, your aura is expanding. You see colors of the rainbow flashing before you. Allow yourself to spin and be basked in that rainbow of light. Allow yourself to move in that light and be showered with rays of love because you are free, with rays of joy because you are free. You are one with the universe, and so is that thing that you freed yourself from. It is good, and so are you. And so as you come back to yourself, to your awareness of here, in this space, your eyes. Become aware. And now we want everyone to stand. And if you see that you need to move away from your chairs, okay, that's good. To the aisles, out to the outside, to move around. But we're going to do that, what we envision ourselves doing. We're not going to be concerned about who's watching and if you're doing anything right or what's happening, okay? But we're going to take that energy that we saw ourselves, that freeness, we're going to move. We're going to allow the drum rhythm to move us because we're moving out that thing that has been attached to us. It's no longer there. It's good. We're good. The universe is good. So we're going to celebrate that in our movement. I'll help you get started. Since you're not too sure about this. Your head. Just your head just a little bit. Be gentle. Shoulders. Open the arms up. Open them up. Yeah, yeah.